Welcome to Ask Simmo, presented by ECU. It's the fans' chance to ask the questions each week of our senior coach, Adam Simpson, and he selects the winner of the best question and they get themselves a Superstore voucher. Now, Simmo, we've had over 500 questions this week after what took place in Geelong. That probably doesn't come as a great surprise. And of course, we're doing this through protocols of COVID, of course, but nevertheless, we are going to push on. But thanks to everyone who got in touch with us via Facebook or Twitter. Simmo, our first question is from Joey Zamponia on Facebook. He says, Adam, we ranked last in inside 50s in the AFL this season. Is this due to injuries to key personnel, or is it a structural problem or effort and pressure around the contest?
Oh, there's a lot of answers to that question. We'd like to get more supply, absolutely. So, part of the conversation we had earlier in the year is, well, we're pretty efficient when we go inside 50. So is that part of the reason? Like we have 42 entries against Collingwood, but we still kick over 100 points. So, but I don't think we can rely on that. Yeah, we need more repeat entries. To get repeat entries, you need that initial first entry. So we often talk about it at a match committee level and with our players. It's built around winning some field position through the contest. And on the weekend, we had that in the first quarter and we just didn't have it after quarter time. So really hard to get your defence going, really hard to get the scoreboard ticking over if you can't get supply. So that is our number one priority this week.
Good question, Joe. Appreciate that. Next question, also via Facebook, is from Christopher Ryan Peake, and that's not Brian Peake, that's Christopher Ryan Peake, of course. He says, Simmo, structurally, why do our half forwards, now this is more of an observation as a viewer, I'm sure, why do our high half forwards stay at home at centre bounces and not follow the high half backs to the contest? Is it work rate or is it trying to exploit the clearance dominance that Nick gives us?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I suppose you get a better look if you're watching live. There are teams you play that if you're a halfback playing on a half forward, that they'll just sprint in front of you. So they're taking a risk, really. So if we win a clearance, it goes over their head, Jamie Cripps is free forward of the play. Or we don't win a clearance, it gets fed back and he's part of the rebound. So every week, you toss a coin whether should you do it, shouldn't you do it. It's a strategy that we should look into as well, especially on the weekend. We got beaten out the front a lot at centre bounces. Do we do that? Are you back shoulder? Do you let Walters go? All those things will come into play. So a couple of teams do it. It works really well. But I tell you, if you win the ball yourself, it can really get exposed the other way. So that's a week-to-week thing.
Good question, Chris. Thank you for that. Let's go to Twitter now for the next question from Jace Gabriel. Teams are pressing a lot better now, forcing the Eagles, to kick down the line, then adding pressure at the contest. It's clear we've got to get better around the contest when this happens, but how do you adjust our outletting from our D50, and do we need more patience? I don't know. If you've got a spot on your assistant coaching staff, Simmo, we've got a lot of assistant coaches who are tapping into our Simmo.
Sounds like I need 500 spots at the moment. The question, I suppose, about our composure or buoyancy in the back half on the weekend, Geelong had 120 odd marks themselves, so you can't blame the ground. Composure with the ball, working for the kicker, having those type of confidence to use the ball. That's probably what happened on the weekend. Traditionally, we're pretty good at doing that regardless of what the opposition does. There's always an avenue. So unfortunately, just dealing with so many, and on the weekend, our boys panicked, I thought, and I think they're the first to admit it, under the pressure of what Geelong were doing, we ended up just releasing the ball down the line, which is what Geelong wanted. So we need to get better at it, no doubt.
Keezer on Twitter asks, and he says, respect for still doing this segment, ask Simmo after an awful loss. How do you address the players after a loss like that? Is it calm and measured, like your public demeanour, or is it an old-fashioned Dennis Pagan-style paint-stripping spray behind closed doors? And does screaming at players achieve anything in the modern game?
Yeah, that's a good challenge to work through. I mean, there's a few ways. One is that, if you're not going to do it here, let's go back and get in a boxing ring and do it back at the club and fight each other. There's, I've been part of, we need to have a beer together. We need to have a loosener, so to speak. We didn't have a beer together. I can guarantee that. But I think the way I approach it, we're just honest, pragmatic. This is where we're at. This is what we've done. We need to look into why, and if we can't execute it, we need to change it at the selection table. So I was pretty stern after the game. Put it on our leaders. We are missing a few players. You can't deny that. I mean, that's just reality. But there's a standard at which we want to keep ourselves on field, which wasn't there. So, yeah, finding a balance. You got a few bullets every year to fire in terms of how aggressive you want to go. And on the weekend, there's definitely time for a bullet to be fired.
Do you ramp it up then, Simmo, if you don't get a response this week?
Well, that's the challenge, isn't it? You do all that and then you don't get a response. Then what's the next thing? So, yeah, I'm cautious of that. I think players are different than what they were when I was playing. The motivational speeches or the threatening conversations, it's a different way to go about it, I think, albeit that I think there's still room for it. So finding the balance is always the key. They know how they play. They know how I feel. We're all in it together. So hopefully we get a better response this week.
Yep, against Freo on Sunday. Patrick Latouche on Twitter says 3 of the 4 leadership group currently injured and Hearn, a former captain, also out. It is an opportunity for younger players with future leadership potential to step up and lead the Lions, for instance, Duggan and Oscar Allen. They're obviously leaders of the future. Do you agree with Patrick that it's their opportunity to step forward?
It is, and we're obviously missing some senior players, and it is a really good opportunity for those guys to step up. They've learned under some really good leaders with Shannon and Josh Kennedy and Luke Shuey and these guys. So that's part of the disappointment, I suppose, on the weekend. We missed an opportunity, being a fair bit younger. We're probably on average 2 years younger and 50 games less experience. So hopefully they've learnt from that on the weekend. Sometimes you look around, I know what it's like. You look around and actually, where's our captain? Where's Gov? Where's Shannon? And you do take a bit more responsibility. So that's a challenge for our boys. That's really a big area of growth that I think we can get pretty quick.
Lakindu is actually watching and is a supporter in Sri Lanka and has got in touch with us via Twitter and says resilience has been a theme all year. How important will that be after last week and coming into a big derby where Freo's on a bit of a winning streak?
Well, resilience is part of our club, going back 30 odd years and, working through some adversity is something that we've done and we're really proud to be part of that. So, yeah, it doesn't mean you win every week, Goss, and I think our fans know that. But it's playing a certain style that you can walk away going, well, they didn't win, but they had a good go. And I think regardless of the scoreboard, that's the goal of everyone, to have something that our supporters and members are proud of. And on the weekend coming up, that's our goal, regardless of who's playing.
Lakindu, if you win the voucher, you've got a long way to come to the superstore.
Oh, you've got to come into the store. Surely you can send some stuff out. Well, look, you've got to live in Perth, do you, to get the store voucher?
Well, no, it's a very good point you make, Coach. So if you make sure Lakindu wins, I'm sure we can pull some.
He's automatically won. That's already happened.
All right, there you go.
You've got to work that out.
The prize pack is going to Sri Lanka. I've got friends in Sri Lanka. I've got ways. And our final question comes from a bit of a lighthearted one after the heavy duty and heavy lifting you've had to do so far. It comes from Blake Cale on Facebook. Simmo, do you think it's too late to invest in Bitcoin? How do you rate Bitcoin? And what cryptocurrencies do you invest in?
So there was 500 questions sent in, and you've given me 8, and one of them was the Bitcoin question. I've got no Bitcoin, mate. I've got actually the club provided me with an electric car, an Audi, which is fantastic, and it's an electric car. So I'm going for lithium. That's. Have I missed that boat? I've probably missed that boat.
Mate, you've come to the wrong place when it talks about investing and share markets. I've got no idea. I'm lucky to have 20 cents to scratch together.
Well, we're in the same boat, mate. We're in the same boat.
Bitcoin. Yeah, can't help you there, Blake, but nice question. So the prize pack is going to Sri Lanka?
Yeah, that's your job to get it there. If it's personally, then that's not a bad thing either.
No, it's not a great spot. Probably not right now, to be brutally honest with you.
No.
Simmo, appreciate that. There is the winner. Goes to the team store. Don't forget, you can get a lot of great merchandise at our superstore at Mineral Resources Park. Simmo, appreciate your time in these troubled times. Good luck in Sunday's Derby.
Yeah, well, thanks, Goss. And look, I do appreciate and understand the frustration from the weekend. And, we're going to do everything we can to play a brand that at least you can be proud of how we played, win, lose or draw.
Good on you, mate. That's our Simmo, thanks to ECU.